So now we can talk about your interview process. And so before that, do you remember the number of students who have been selected for this profile, applications engineer?
Yeah. So after the technical test, like there were I think 38 people shortlisted for applications engineer profile
Yes.
interview, and
Okay. So 38 were shortlisted for the interview. So was there any resume shortlisting before this shortlisting? कुछ हो
no,
भी
no,
हुआ?
no,
Okay.
no,
So
there
test
wasn't.
was the only criteria to get into the interview.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Great.
And
Yes.
also, I think the day of the interview, they also put another extended shortlist.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, because
So,
they selected many people, so
mhm.
they had to put another shortlist, I think.
And how many offers were finally made in this profile, applications engineer?
In my profile, nine, maybe 9 or 10 total. क्योंकि total it was 20 type,
Mhm.
so I think it's
Okay,
like
okay.
9 or 10.
9 or 10. So I think these things, at least IIT Bombay students, they can always verify from the placement blog.
Yeah.
So even if we are somewhat in that range, it's fine. They can always check it. So yes, so now we can talk about your interview experience, like the number of rounds and what was the focus of each and every round. So if you could just walk us through those particular rounds, actually.
So there were 2 rounds for I think everyone. First, both of my rounds were technical rounds. There were no HR round for me, as like a different kind of HR round. In the second interview, he asked me some of the questions which I thought was based on HR questions,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure. Both were mainly technical. So in the first round, there were 2 people taking the interview, and they asked me to switch over to a platform, coding platform that they said, and then they described 2 problems. And they described first one problem, and then after solving that, they put the follow-up question. Like so, it was a I had to do one deep copy of a linked list, having a random pointer as well. Like we know the like the standard linked list with the next pointer only. It had alongside a random pointer as well. So we had to make one deep copy of that, and I used map for that. And after solving that, after doing the code for that, he asked me to do a follow up, that is without using any extra space, without using map. That means
Okay.
so that I didn't know actually. This I knew earlier, that I didn't know. So I took some time to think. Then he didn't ask me to code. He just asked me to describe how will I do. So I described, but I wasn't sure that if it is correct or not. So now also I don't know. And the second question was based on tree, a simple tree question.
Yeah.
Nothing BST, and could be solved with both DFS and BFS. So I did with both. I did the code for both, so
Okay.
they were fine with that. So
Yeah.
then that interview ended,
Yeah.
and after that, one other interviewer there, and only one person was there, a senior person, and it was a very frankly friendly kind of interview. Like most of the times I was laughing, I was smiling. And firstly he asked me to tell me about yourself, and then he asked me why you are in civil, why you chose this,
Yes.
like civil acha nahi lagta kya, and this type of questions. And after that, he asked me, tell me about one of your proudest moments during your preparation.
Yes.
And I answered very silly a silly way in that question. I told him that the first time I solved one DP question, I was very excited. And he laughed, like, okay, what was the question? Then I said it was a knapsack problem, and he said, okay, I forgot what is the knapsack problem. Describe me that. And then I described him the problem and how to solve that. Of course he knew, he just
Yeah.
uh, were asking. And then he switched to problem. He asked me to open my text editor, and he described 2 3 problems. It wasn't that difficult, but I didn't do them earlier, So, but I thought them then and there, and I coded them. And he asked me to dry run with some of the examples, test run, and yeah, he was pretty impressed.
Yeah.
And after that, he asked me if I have any question. So I asked like, what are the different business units you have? And then he said there are many like this. He was like, you don't know, why are you asking? But let me tell you. Yeah.
Yeah.
After that, one HR ma'am was there. So she just asked me, how was your previous interview? I said it was very good. They said, okay, no, your interview process is completed. We will share results with the placement team.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. So we will go more. We'll discuss more about these rounds. So as you have mentioned that in that there were two rounds, and there was no specific HR round.
No, no.
And in each of these two rounds, they were asking, they were giving you some coding questions, and you have to write the logic or the pseudo code for those codes in
Yeah,
that
yeah,
paper, yeah, on your
yeah.
machine. So
Hmm.
in first round, how many questions were there?
Actually, two main question were there. First question, one follow up was there,
Yeah.
and second question, I did I solved it in a two type, like two methods. Like,
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
so
Yeah. And similarly, there was another round in which there was again two
three,
questions,
four questions, I
three,
think.
four questions, and after
Huh.
and they were mainly coding questions, mainly
Yeah,
they were totally
coding.
coding questions.
Huh.
And obviously, they also tried to make you feel comfortable by asking some normal questions like,
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah, like tell me about yourself and why did you choose, why did you select
Hmm.
civil engineering, or sorry, software
Hmm.
engineering over civil engineering, all these things.
Huh.
Yeah.
What all subjects did you do?
Okay.
These kind of questions.
Yes. Yes. And since it was an online round, so they would sort of miss, you had to write the logic on
Yeah.
your editor.
Hmm.
ऑफलाइन में होता तो शायद बस लॉजिक हमें एल्गो
पेपर
मतलब
में लिखना रहता है ऑफलाइन में, बट हियर एक्चुअली यू नीड टू डू द कोडिंग.
yes, yes, but you just need to do the dry run.
कोडिंग ओनली, हाँ हाँ, ट्राई
Yeah.
रन ओनली, नो नीड टू पास.
Yes. Yeah. So in your
But they will ask cross questions like, why this line? I was making conversations throughout the interview, like why am I using this and why this, and how am I approaching the problem, like that. So
yeah, yeah, I think people also suggest this thing that think out loud
yeah,
means
yeah, think out loud.
not just write whatever you are thinking, whatever is coming to your mind, just
Hmm.
speak up so that they also get to know your thought process, and that way
Thought
you
process, yeah.
can also make the conversation engaging. It's not
Yeah.
that you are just writing and sitting either not speaking even a single word.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
But still, in your interview, was there anything like you felt that I did not study this thing, but they're asking questions, something कि आप answer नहीं कर पाए?
I was grateful that they didn't ask me any of the like questions, subject related questions. Maybe they could have asked some questions which I didn't know, because I only studied the basic part.
Yeah.
And I told him actually, by being honest, that I don't know in depth knowledge of this subjects. I just know the basics. Um, so he didn't ask actually. The first interview
Okay.
it was mainly coding, and the second interview, uh, I don't know if he wanted to ask or not, but he didn't.
Okay. Okay. Yes. We can talk about these things like POR actually. So in your interview, any questions on your POR like positions of responsibility?
No, no, no. I don't have any points for that actually. You
Yeah.
can see in my resume.
Yes. You.
So I put it in the last.
Yes. Yes. You
Yeah.
have mentioned your teaching assistantship. Okay. Yeah.
Hmm. And in software development profile, actually these things don't matter. I think
Yeah.
it matters mainly on the profiles like consultancy, finance, those kind of analyst maybe.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Because I think we have also talked before, like sometimes people are a bit confused about PUR, especially in their first semester or second semester. They are like whether I should
Hmm.
go for this PUR or not. So I think in that case, means like what do you advise in while going for any PUR? What is your take on this?
If you are planning for going this consultancy firms and finance, then you should have some kind of POR in your resume. I would suggest. But if you are planning to go for specific tech companies, if it is your core or if non-core, then I think POR will not play that much of a role.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes sense. That makes
Mm.
sense. Mm. And how about CPI? Even though Oracle did not have any resume shortlisting round, as we
Mm.
have discussed, so what is your take on CPI? Like, I mean,
It's better to be safe with a CPI more than 8, I think. More than 8 or 8.5 is okay, I think. If your CPI is more than 8.5, then you're fine.
and you're fine. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think because sometimes I think POR, CPA, and some other questions they always come into the mind of any first year MTech student. So I think
Yeah.
these things also clarify their doubts. Like they have to focus on their CPA. They cannot let it go away. They need to focus on their CPA.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah. So but in case of your interview, and you have already mentioned that there are very few HR questions. Still, anything you want to add to the interview, like in interview rounds, what we should do, what we should not do, something like that you want to add?
Um,
Mainly in
don't
case
just
of your
start
interview, yeah.
when the interviewers start with asking questions. Just after finishing the question, don't just start saying or don't just start writing the code, even if you know. Just take some time, think. Even if you know, just act like you're thinking. You know that way they will know your thought process.
Yeah.
Just try to build up the solution, and yeah, and don't make mistakes. Like if you are continuously making mistakes in coding, then that is not good.
Yeah.
And try to write a very concise coding. Like don't use too many random variables or like use many lines of code when you can compact it in a fewer lines.
Yeah.
So effective coding is always helpful.
Yeah.
And if you can just uh, prepare your subjects as well, because that will always be a plus.
Subjects, as in subjects means.
Computer science subjects like operating system, object oriented programming, DBMS, networks, if you can.
Yeah.
So those subjects, and if you can do some projects as well, then it will be very good,
Yes. Yeah.
because they can ask questions from those subjects, from those projects.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. True.
Prioritize first the coding
Yeah.
and then subjects, and
Yeah.
then if you have time, do one or two project.
Yes. Yeah. True. So from interview perspective, like of course we know that data structures and algorithms are two pillars which you should be very confident about. But I think how deep or how deep should we go into these topics? Like
As
yeah,
much deep as you can, actually, because many companies I saw that they asked very advanced data structure questions. Like those are not difficult, but just because those are advanced, those are long, people don't read those. Because I left AVL tree implementations, and one company asked that the implementation itself, it's there, it's the standard code, but I didn't just read, so I couldn't do. So just cover as much topic as you can.
okay, okay, okay. So any specific topic like you think that this is something which we must do in case
Yeah.
of okay,
Array is must, then graph, tree. Uh, these are the very important data structures. Many questions can come from these, and then algorithms, searching, sorting, and then matrix questions. A DP, obviously, dynamic programming is there, and yeah, mostly questions from these topics come. But if you can cover greedy and then pattern searching and stack you, hash map,
mm.
others as well.
Yeah, a lot of things are there. A lot of things are there. So
Yeah,
I guess if you are planning to go for software profiles, then really you should start early and work on these things which you have mentioned right now. We can manage our course and we can also learn coding at the same
yeah.
time. Yeah.
If you're interested, you can do anything.
Yeah, it's all about our interest and priority. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. So, yes, Ritu. So I guess then we have covered really a wide range of topics till now. And now, one question, like, what was your plan B if you were not selected for this profile? Then what was your plan B?
Well, means profile means software profile,
Okay.
software engineering profile. Then I had some data science projects, as I told.
Mhm.
So I applied for this data scientist roles as well,
Okay.
but I wasn't shortlisted for any companies in data science profile. But I don't know, maybe in core companies also,
Okay.
because I got placed in day two, so there were many companies afterwards.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah. So core. Okay. So finally,
Also, I had other companies also. In afternoon session, I had Amazon and SAP Labs. So, and then Accenture Japan was there, Postman was there. So
yes.
maybe some other
Yeah,
company
yeah.
could
You had
select.
a lot of things on your plate, so obviously you could, if not this, then again you had some other options as well. So I think your
Mm.
preparations had was really well, was really good, and so yes. So now we can talk about these things like core versus non-core. Okay. uh,
Mm.
because in case of civil engineering and several other engineering departments as well, we sometimes also feel, or are really confused, like what should we go for, because we all know that masters we do for two reasons primarily. One is to get a good job, and another is to get to know more about your undergrad topic, or to dive deep into that topic.
Yeah.
So, means how do you see this thing, core versus non-core, and how, and mainly like what advice do you have for any first year master's students? Like how should they focus on these two things?
If your focus is to just get a job, like any job, then you should have your options open, like prepare as much as you can
Yeah,
and go for software in that case, because there will be many software companies, more than you can imagine,
yeah,
and do coding like that way. And other options are also there, finance, consulting, and for those you should be good in aptitudes.
yeah,
Verbal communication should be good in those cases. And if you are interested in core only, in your department only, then like there will be lesser options for sure. But if you're really good, then you will get placed, because there will be some companies which have their requirements and they will come eventually. And some of my friends got their companies, like some of them got their dream company even in core. So don't lose hope, it will be there.
yeah, yes, obviously. Yeah. Okay. So anything you want to add, mainly in these interview rounds? Anything about interview you want to add?
um, if I need to advise, then I will say just keep, keep making conversations with the interviewers. That way, they will know what you are thinking and how confident you are. That way, they will know what you are thinking and how confident you are. And yeah, just try to drive the interview in a way that they will ask you those questions which you are more confident about, and
Ye-
put the resume in that way also. And
Yes.
like if you are more confident about your projects, put those first, then your skills, then your courses, then POR. Because in my case, I did that. And in the interview, don't be too nervous, because it's okay to not know everything. They
Okay.
also know that.
Yeah.
And yeah, try to deliver whatever you know in the best way possible. That will give you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. So I guess we have covered, almost all the things which we had planned actually. So, another thing we should have talked before, but again, it's so we can talk a bit about resume. Like normally, master student they use two-page resume to sign any particular JAF. But in your case, you signed this JAF for, I guess, using one page resume, right?
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
what was going on in your mind? Because I find
I
it.
didn't have. The reason is I didn't have much of the software development projects, as I said, and whatever I did fitted into this one page only. And if I had to make it two page, then I had to put my course projects, my civil engineering projects, my master projects in a bigger description, my BTech project, those things. But I don't think those were needed for non-core profile. No one would have asked me those questions. They wouldn't even see those. So it was unnecessary to put those. So I kept it simple.
Yes. Yeah. I guess it's good that you customize your resume so that the recruiter they also don't have tough time in figuring out what to read and what
Hmm.
not to read. So before we wrap up, 1 second, I think second last thing. Any advice for your upcoming MTech civil engineering students mainly? Any advice?
If you want to prepare for this software, then this is the high time to start coding, because the all the companies, software development as well as data science profiles, will ask coding. And try to do the subjects as well, because many of the companies ask MCQ. And if you are planning for other profiles like finance and consulting analyst, then aptitude is must.
Yes.
So start preparing those. Don't be nervous and don't lose hope, because there will be many companies.
Yes.
Even if you don't get in the first 5 days, don't lose hope.
Yes.
Like, there will be many good companies even.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I think it's a very strong point that you have made that you should not lose hope in any situation. And
Hmm.
who knows, like, miss in the what is there for you in the upcoming days. So you should always
Yeah.
keep trying, and that way you will get eventually what you have been looking for. Yes. Yes, so we really hope that your experience will serve as a motivation for the upcoming students, not in IIT Bombay, I think across our country, those who will be sitting for the placements in the upcoming season. So yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for taking out time from your schedule.
Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to be here. It's nice to share my experience finally.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Ritu.